Hello, hello, hello. I was just talking and the thing was not recording. So, the unique unicorn here. Hello, hello, hello. I've decided that it takes too much effort to say, well, it just doesn't flow to say the unique unicorn here. I like the name. It's cute. It flows with the magical sense of all this, but it's really easier for me to say Auntie Chel here. My nieces call me Auntie Chel. I thought about, I'm coming on here. I'm telling stories that, they're fiction, but they have a little moral to them. It reminds me, when you're younger, you go over to your aunt's house and or maybe a grandparent's house, and they, tell you stories, and you just enjoy just the comfort of sitting around hearing, a story from one of your elders. Dang, I just showed my age on that. But anyway, I like Auntie Chel. It flows, and so Auntie Chel here. So let me give you a quick update before I get into the card selection, the crystal selection, and then the little story that will come after. So this weekend I went on a crystal crawl, and basically it's so cute. They give you a little passport book at whatever store you go to, and then you visit other crystal stores around the city. They stamp your book, and you get whatever discounts that particular store offers. So needless to say, it was so exciting just to see the different stores, the vibe that they had, the ones that I really love and will go back to. Some other ones I didn't get a chance to go to because they had closed, but it goes through the whole month of October. I might hit them up. But I noticed something. How many crystals can one person get in such a small mother freaking space? What am I doing? I love it. These are some fountains. This one and this over here, I don't know if you can see it, were fountains that I bought that were dried up and didn't work anymore. And I thought, well, I need some more surface area. So I've got a bunch of stones on here, and I've got a bunch here in the back. And anyway, needless to say, let's just go ahead and get this party started. I'm just fascinated with how many rocks I can get into this small space. So the deck that I'm going with today is, sorry, Kiki, the Time Traveler's Oracle deck by Denise Lynn. Beautiful cards, by the way. So let's go ahead and let's get the shuffle on. Oh, I didn't ring my bell. Hold on a second. Okay, while that's finishing, can you still hear it? While that's finishing, I'm going to shuffle. Still going. Okay, now I am going to pick, let's move this out the way. This is really cluttery here, but it's okay because it's so full of energy. You can see the outside of these cards. They are gorgeous, honey. Okay. So what should we pick? What should I pick? Stop. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Ooh, honey. You know I love tigers. Oh, flexibility. It says a prehistoric bamboo forest, Southeast Asia. So each of these cards, what's really cool is it's the Time Traveler's deck. So they pick a space and time, and then they give you some information about it. So let's read up on what this one is. Let's see the vibe that we're starting off with. Flexibility. Messages from a prehistoric bamboo forest, Southeast Asia. Let's take a big step back into Neolithic times. It's about 8,000 BCE, and we have landed in an enormous primordial bamboo forest in Southeast Asia. There's something holy about the way the light filters through the massive stems around us. Although the wind isn't blowing, we can hear a gentle rustling. Look at my hand shaking. I'm gonna put this down. That doesn't look good. I've had too much coffee. Where was I at? Although the wind isn't blowing, we can hear a gentle rustling, which is actually the sound of the bamboo growing. Everything feels so vibrant and alive. We both love it here. That's the time traveler that goes back with you. That's how you read this. One of the many remarkable things about this plant, in addition to its rapid growth, up to 35 inches a day, is its flexibility. Massive, seemingly stronger trees will snap in high winds, yet bamboo simply bends and sways in all directions without breaking. Because of this quality, it survives and even thrives in situations where other species might suffer. Even during a harsh winter, when it's hunched over with the weight of ice and snow, it doesn't break. It simply snaps back, high and proud, in the spring. It can survive for thousands of years through its adaptability. The Time Traveler's Message. This card urges you to be flexible in your life. This is not a time for uncompromising strength, but a time for bending and yielding. Success will follow if you do this. Do not face a problem head on. Go around it, above it, or under it. Be willing to change your mind and modify your trajectory in your life to go in a different direction. In regard to abundance, this is a powerful card. It suggests that your prosperity can grow exponentially if you are adaptable. Potentially a time of rapid growth is ahead. However, if you are rigid, there's a chance that something valuable in your life will break or shatter. Don't rely on your own strength. You may eventually splinter and break. If you're strong and flexible, you can adapt to even the harshest of circumstances. Go with the flow. Don't try to direct it, and good fortune will ensue. Now, I'm not a tarot reader. I just love the beauty of the cards, and I read to you the corresponding information about the card that's in the book. Now, let's go over to the crystal selection, and let's pick something. I'm feeling an orange, like a carnelian. Is that kind of no, well, no, I don't think I'm feeling that. Seem to be stuck. Okay. This green. So this I just got on the crawl. Oh Lord, what's it called? Hold on, I'll get you the name later. Is it a jade? I think it's some type of a jade. I'm not sure. I don't know if you can see it. It's got like a dark green color, and there's some dark greens in here. So, okay, we're gonna move on. I'm gonna make up a story. It would probably be good if I knew the names of the crystals. But again, sorry, I'm learning. And so, hey, you learn as you go. So what I will do is put the name of the crystal. You know what? No. You know what, guys? I don't like to do that. I have my notes. I made a list. I checked it twice. And I wrote the name down. Hold on. Why don't I just pause the... Oh, I don't know how to do that. Oh! Where's my notes? Come on, man. This is a travesty. Look at this, is bothering me. I've got to know the name. Okay, here's my notes. All right, this is what's called a it's a jade nephrite. Gosh, somebody just really couldn't let it go. A jade nephrite. And the way I wrote it down is it looks like it has a little, can you see it, like a little necklace on it, like an emerald necklace? or I mean a silver necklace. Anyway, I've spent too much time on this. Let's go with a story. Once upon a time, there was a village. This village, even though we are in modern times, if one was to go visit this village, it would look like it was stuck in time, like from hundreds of years ago. There was no electricity. If you can kind of imagine a village, they did all their own farming. And one of their main sources of, I would say, income in the village was their the bamboo, what they did with the bamboo and how they sold it to other villages, and that's what helped them. They were known for their creativity with the bamboo. The elder of this village passed away suddenly, and the village wasn't ready. But based on the tradition, the eldest son was to take over, regardless of skill set, regardless of anything. Whoever was the elder in charge, their son was to take over. The problem, this man that passed didn't have a son. He only had a daughter. And the whole idea of what would they do then when it was time for someone else to take over, they had not ever addressed it. Like I said, this elder, although he wasn't that old, suddenly passing away, leaving almost like 17 years old, almost a teenager, a teenage daughter left to control the village. Now, side note, this young girl was brilliant. She had learned a lot from the elder, which was her father, and she listened. She had good morals. She just kind of, she did everything by the book, simply because in her sight, regardless of the rule that it had to be a boy taking over, she just always believed one day she was going to be the one to lead the village. She took it seriously. Now, she was teased by other kids her age. Why do you think that you would be able to take over? That's not how tradition goes. And, the whispers amongst everyone was the elder's brother had a son, and it would trickle over it to him. So the few days had passed by, and there was a mumbling in the village amongst the older people who were radically against a female taking the spot, because that wasn't the tradition, you see. That's not how things were done. So now they're faced with a situation where they can't really go by tradition, but yet they have to make a decision. And because they didn't want to be flexible and give the young girl an opportunity and realize that traditions can change. Did you hear me? Traditions can change, but we all know that in our society, there's nothing wrong with traditions, okay? The coming together for traditions can bring a sense of unity. It can connect the different, age groups. But just like in this situation, where tradition can actually have more of a judgmental effect, not a unifying effect. Can you see how being locked into tradition can be detrimental? Because what happened is they didn't even really take a vote. They just told the girl, can I give her a name? Let's call her Sienna. Sienna was just told, get out, they even were making her move out of that home, and they were going to have the nephew. Remember that they decided they were going to go by the brother of the elder that passed away and use his son. Now, his son was a complete jackass. He clowned around all the time. He didn't take anything seriously, but he was very popular. Okay, so as the elders met and made this decision, well, he's popular. The people, they'll listen to him, and plus, we can only have males in these positions. So Sienna had to move out of, her own home. No one cared. It was just like, get the hell out. Let this guy move in. As you can imagine, a couple years had gone by. The whole industry with the bamboo that kept the village going was a shambles. If you looked at the village now, or 2 years later, you could see it almost looked like it was abandoned. Many families did move elsewhere because, see, there was no income, and so how were people going to survive? But this nephew who was running the village, he didn't care about anyone else. All he cared about was living large. And he was, because he was in charge. Oh, I made a rhyme. But nature began to speak. Because you see, as the bamboo was not being honored and taken care of, the village had a mutual respect for the bamboo forest that they lived by. And with this lack of respect going on, nature got out of balance. Where the bamboo used to be so flexible, it began to harden so much so that it was almost like a petrified wood. You couldn't even move it. So here, this once vibrant, flexible forest of strength is now almost lifeless. Again, this young kid not caring about anybody else, not knowing about the respect for nature, did nothing. Now, Sienna, who loved this village with all her heart, would go into the bamboo forest every day. She would pray, she would talk to the trees, she would do whatever she knew to do to try to show her love and ask the forest to just please be forgiving and soften, basically. She saw the bamboo becoming petrified. Well, one day as she was sitting there, a tiger approached. Sienna wasn't scared. She had grown up in this forest. She was familiar with all the animals. As a matter of fact, she could communicate with them. This tiger came over and he said, the forest, the trees have asked me to speak on their behalf. You see, they hear your cries, but they also are infuriated with this elder that's this person that's in charge that's not respecting the land. If you, Sienna, take charge, the forest will go back to the way it was. It will supply the village everything it needs. Sienna looked at the tiger and said, well, how am I supposed to do that? It's tradition. The tiger said, and at what point can you change that tradition? She said, I can't change tradition. This is how it is. And he said again, if it's a matter of this forest coming back to life, people moving back to the village, everything going back to that mutual respect and love for the forest, you can't figure out a way to become in charge? And at that, the tiger walked away. Sienna sat there and she started to cry. How could she change the tradition? How could she go against everyone? How could she tell them that a tiger came to her and told her that the bamboo trees had a message? Who would believe such nonsense? That night, Sienna was awakened by shrill screams and just complete chaos. And she jumped up and she looked out of her home that she was in. And there in the distance, she saw that nephew running, arms in the air, screaming, I'm done, I don't want this, I'm out of here. And she looked back to see, well, what is he running from? And there, standing in the doorway of what used to be her home, was the tiger. At this point, with the guy gone, she went to the elders and she told them, please give me a chance. I can bring this village back to life. I know it's tradition to go one way, but I think we should listen to how things are playing out. We should look at the signs. And the signs are pointing at me. Give me an opportunity to bring this village back, basically, to life. Well, since no one else would step up and no one really wanted to be the one to say boo, hiss, go, because there was no one stepping up, they went ahead, they were flexible now, and they, after the half of the village was gone and the forest had petrified, they finally decided to be flexible, just as the bamboo used to do in harsh times. And within 3 months' time, the village was back thriving again. Sienna made one of the best leaders of the village they had ever seen. Matter of fact, the village had begun to grow because she just kept getting great ideas for how they could use the bamboo, and they would, more people were learning about the village, and it grew. And long story short, they all lived happily ever after. Now, that story was long. I might speed it up so you don't, well, maybe you guys can speed up it when you're listening to it. The moral is this. Nothing wrong with tradition. But when tradition comes in the way of common sense, when the tradition comes to bring division, what's really the point other than now it's a matter of control? You have to do it this way because we always have. You see, life, got excited. Life has a constant, and that constant is there's always change. I want you to think about a situation in your life where you've been told this is the way that it doesn't have to just be with family. This is the way, even if maybe at your job, this is the way we do things, this is the way it's always been. And I want you to really give a thought about at what point, if you were in a situation like Sienna, what would it take for you to actually step up and say, hey, let's not just conform and go with the way things always have been. Let's talk about a mutual way to celebrate or do things in a different way that can serve the advancement of time, that can serve the differences of people, mindsets. Let's not be, I'm back in the story. Think about areas in your life where maybe you are rigid. Maybe you are stuck in conforming to a way that things have been done, even though you don't agree with it. At what point do you step up and say, let's make a new tradition? I know this might offend some people, especially with the holidays coming up, and don't take offense. But if you do, that means I've triggered you. And so what I say is you're welcome. Because when you get triggered, that's an opportunity to look within and see, okay, why is her talking about maybe changing traditions or making new ones? Why does that make me feel weird? And that answer is going to be different for everyone. But it's an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to see, where's that area of that onion? Remember Shrek, the donkey? I can peel back layers. Maybe I can peel back this layer and really see what's going on. Guarantee you it's tied to something in your childhood, but that's a whole nother thing. Anyway, guys, I hope you like the story. Longer video than the other one. My objective is to make these shorter. I don't know what to do. If you stayed through till the end, that's great. I hope you enjoyed the story, and peace.